Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasura Nandana Braja Jana Ranjano Yasura Nandana Braja Jana Ranjano Jamunatira Bonacharya Jamunatira Bonachari Bonachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Jasura Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jasura Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanacharya Jamunatira Vanacharya Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Radha Giridhari ki Gaura Premanandi Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Praviraj Gajaja Shodhara Shishi Mahar is divine grace Abhay Charana Aravind Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Praviraj Gajaja Shodhara Shishi Mahar is divine grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Ji Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashri Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Grantara srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai Samavira Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Go Premanandi all glories to the sum of the devotees all glories to the sum of the devotees all glories sum of the devotees all glories Sri Guru So this morning we're continuing verse that was begun last class. Text 27, fourth canto is 20, First chapter? I didn't say here. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskitaram Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Vadiyadayat Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arha Sattama Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochna Vatya Kvachid Bhuvaha Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arha Sattama Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochna Vatya Kvachid Bhuvaha Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arhasattamaha Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochnavatya Kvachid Bhuvaha. Please chant. Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arhasattamaha Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochnavatya Kvachid Bhuvaha. Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arhasattamaha Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochnavatya Kvachid Bhuvaha. Try to chant. Anyway, Damini, you ready? You want to chant? Get the verse there. Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arhasattama Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochnavatya Kvachid Bhuvaha. Asti Yagya Patirnama Keshanchid Arhasattama Ihamutra Chalakshante Jochnavatya Kvachid Bhuvaha. Synonyms. Asti. There must be. Jagyapatihi, the enjoyer of all sacrifices. Nama, of the name. Keshanchit, in the opinion of some. Arha Sattamaha, O most respectable. Iha, in this material world. Amutra, after death. Cha, also. Lakshante, it is visible. Jochna Vatyaha, powerful, beautiful. Kvachit, somewhere. Bhuvaha, bodies. Translation. My dear respectable ladies and gentlemen, according to the authoritative statements of Shastra, there must be a supreme authority who is able to award the respective benefits of our present activities. Otherwise, why should there be persons who are unusually beautiful and powerful both in this life and the life after death? So, starting up again, purport. Oops. It's this the most important point in human civilization. Okay, is that the third paragraph? Okay. The most important point in human civilization is that while one engages in different occupational duties, he must try to satisfy the Supreme Lord by the execution of such duties. That is the highest perfection of life. Swanushthitasya dharmasya samsadir haritosanam. It's in the Bhagavatam, 1st Canto, 2nd chapter, 13th verse. By discharging one's prescribed duty, one can become very successful in life if he simply satisfies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The vivid example is Arjuna. He was a Kshatriya. His duty was to fight, and by executing his prescribed duty, he satisfied the Supreme Lord and therefore became perfect. The atheists who do not, everyone should follow this principle. Just check and see if everyone's following. Everyone should follow this principle. The atheists who do not are condemned in Bhagavad Gita 16th chapter 19th verse by the following statement: Tanaham dvishata kruran samareshu naradamam. In this verse it is clearly said that persons who are envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are the lowest of mankind and are very mischievous. Under the regulative principles of the Supreme, such mischievous persons are thrown into the darkest region of material existence and are born as asuras or atheists. Birth after birth, such asuras go still further down, finally to animal forms like those of tigers or similar ferocious beasts. Thus, for millions of years, they have to remain in darkness without knowledge of Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Purushottama, or the best of all living entities. He is a person like all other living entities, but he is the leader or the best of all living beings. That is stated in the Vedas also. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam Katupanishad 2.2.13. He is the chief of all eternals, the chief of all living entities, and he is complete and full. He has no need to derive benefit by interfering with the affairs of other living entities, but because he is the maintainer of all, he has the right to bring them to the proper standards so that all living entities may become happy. There's a key sentence there, these two sentences. A father wants all of his children to become happy under his direction. Similarly, God or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has the right to see that all living entities are happy. There's no possibility of becoming happy within this material world. The Father and the Sons are eternal, but if a living entity does not come to the platform of eternal life, of bliss and knowledge, there is no question of happiness. Although Purushottama, the best of all living entities, has no benefit to derive from the common living entities, he does have the right to discriminate between their right and wrong ways. The right way is the path of activities meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we have already discussed. Swanushthitasya Dharmasya samsadir haritoshanam. A living entity may engage in any occupational duty, but if he wants to have perfection in his duties, he must satisfy the Supreme Lord. As such, one who pleases him gets better facilities for living, but one who displeases him gets involved in undesirable situations. So, stop there. We'll just read a little bit. We may be able to continue some. Om Agyanti Mirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksulun Minitam Ninataismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Bhancha Kalpataru Pascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Paritanam Bhavani Bho Vaishnavi Bho Namo Namaha. So, your good wishes and blessings. I'll try to say a few things. I guess we can go to the purport here. Human beings are supposed to have some intelligence. Intelligence means to discriminate. So it's a faculty of discrimination. There's a saying, that guy's pretty bright. Ain't that? Bright. Or all the lights, or if he's not so bright, they say some of the lights are out upstairs. Right? Not too bright. So intelligence, one of the aspects of intelligence, it means the ability to discriminate, we would say, between right and wrong. We say what's good and bad, what's right and wrong, like that. But so, Prabhupada says the most important point in human civilization is that one engages in different occupational activities meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. So that's the best use of human intelligence. It's a faculty, it's an ability to discriminate, but what should we be discriminating? And that's described here. Because there's many different things you can use your intelligence for. In fact, people use their intelligence for some very nasty things. Right? In fact, that's described there in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Horrible something works meant to destroy the world. Like Ugra karma. Use their intelligence to just make a mess of everything. Isn't that interesting? Intelligence utilized to make a mess of everything. So proper use of intelligence is how to make everything run very, very, very smoothly according to the laws of nature and the laws of God. That's what we say, the laws of God. So Krishna set everything into motion, and it just so happens that it's all set up in such a way where as one engages in their execution of duties of this life, and if it's for the perfection, the happiness of the Lord, that's perfection. So what's perfection? We say that perfection is one's life is lived in such a way where the Lord is very, very happy. Just like in a classroom, you can do all kinds of things in that classroom. I remember when I was in elementary school, some of the kids used to take pencils, and the teacher wasn't looking, because we had these kind of ceilings, and they'd throw them up and stick in the ceiling. And the teacher would turn around like that, and there'd be this pencil stuck in the ceiling. You do all kinds of stupid. You ever do stupid things in school? The teacher wasn't looking. But in the classroom, if what's the most important thing in the classroom is to please the teacher. Now, that is not just some kind of like bribing the teacher. Of course, they had that whole big scandal. Was that last year? All the Ivy League universities, big amounts of money paid to the faculty and the administrators and so on just to get their kids into school. It's a big thing. Unbelievable. So that's not pleasing the teacher means doing your studies very nicely and getting good grades and graduating, right? I would think a teacher would feel like the same kids in his class year after year after year, like, when are you going to get out of here? Like Jim Rohn said, that why do you think they make the desk so small in third grade? You're not supposed to stay there. You have to, your body, you go on. So, or in a family, what should children be doing? They actually should be trying to please their parents. A novel idea. You actually try to please your parents, make your parents happy, because the happiness of the parent, the happiness of the teacher, the spiritual master, and the happiness of Krishna is our happiness. That's the whole thing. It's not exploitative. Well, you make me happy and I could care less about you. That's the material world. You make me happy, I could care less about you. My happiness that's my concern. So when it says to Hari Tosanam, to please the Lord, what's Krishna's greatest happiness? Yes. Yes, to see that all the conditioned souls are, that's his happiness. That's Krishna's greatest happiness. Just like Haridas Thakur, there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that he expresses great concern that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in anxiety. He's in anxiety. And he understood that anxiety was that there are so many living entities who are suffering in this material world, and therefore taking up the mission of spreading the holy name. And Prabhupada points out in that purport that's a devotee. He sees the Lord's in anxiety, and what's the Lord's anxiety is others are suffering. And the jivas are suffering, the jivas in this material world, and he tries to relieve that suffering or make the Lord happy. That's another way of saying making someone happy, relieve their anxiety or suffering by trying to deliver the fallen souls, by giving them Krishna consciousness, by giving them the holy names. So when it says in the verse and in the purport refers to we should all be trying to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is not the same kind of selfishness that you find in this material world at all. In fact, Krishna, later on these purports, he's completely full in himself. What is that called? Atmaram. Atmaram. Completely, or Purnam. Completely full and complete. Doesn't need anything. Can you imagine having that ability? That you just don't need anything. You feel you don't need anything. You're completely satisfied. Tushti pushti, just completely satisfied. And actually devotees are meant to be, because there's that verse, Atmaramash Chamunayo, is about jivas who are completely self-satisfied. They don't want anything for themselves. But what do they want? They want the happiness of others. That's a very exalted platform of consciousness if you think about it. Because in this material world, we're usually very much just concerned about ourselves. We always default to just being self-centered. That's just conditioning in the material world. We wouldn't be here if we weren't self-centered. Now, I don't know if it's the attire for all prisons, but it seems like where they wear a lot of orange these days, don't they, prisoners? Orange? Is that the fashion in the Grey Hotel? Orange. What? Orange jumpsuits. Okay. So, the fact that you have one of those on, you did something. You're wearing one of those, you did something. So the fact that we're in this material world, we have a material body, there's a big sign. Self-centered, self-centered, self-centered. That's what it means. We're in the material world. We wouldn't be here otherwise. So that's just our conditioning, and we've been working on it for a long time. Millions and millions of lifetimes. Now, we have to change that, and that's what's been described here. Human life is meant to change that and to be not self-centered, but Krishna-centered. That's what Krishna consciousness is. And by executing the different duties given to us, one can become perfect. Because the point of the verse is that Prithu Maharaj is saying it's evident that there's someone in control and that their pleasure is an important factor of reality. He says, otherwise, the argument he gives, otherwise, why would there be discrepancy between different levels of living entities? He said, for example, there are some people who are very, very beautiful, right? Intelligent and beautiful and so on. We see much more than us. There's this discrepancy in this life and the next. So what determines that? What determines that? You know, just like in a classroom, how come that guy next to me always get A's and I always get F's? Right? Why? What could be the reason? And the teacher is the one who gives the grades. Right? The teacher's the one who gives the grades. You know, so there's someone in control. Right? There's some system there. You know, they figure it out. So in the same way, and those who don't figure it out, what happens? So this verse here, Tanaham Dvishata Kruran Samareshu Naradamam. That's a very heavy verse, and Krishna says such living entities, they're Naradamam, lowest among mankind, they're asuric, envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lowest of mankind. What happens to them? They sink down to the most abominable species of life. Now, is this Krishna doesn't like them? Almost sounds like it. Or there's some kind of egotistic displeasure. You know? It's not. It's actually out of affection. You know, they have that expression now, tough love. What's tough love? Yeah, what's tough love? Out of love. Yes, it means sometimes you get a little heavy with someone. Out of affection, not out of malice, but sometimes, what do they call it? You have to put your foot down. Like that. It's called tough love. Like sometimes a teenager, that's always a good example of teenagers and so on. They do some crazy things, so the father says, that's it. You've been grounded, or you can't use the car, or this or that, or whatever. Oh no, But that you just have a very difficult situation. But the only way to learn a lesson sometimes, just like Shastra means good instruction. And Shastra means a stick. So the point is, if you don't learn by hearing, you learn by bitter experience or the stick. Like that. Yeah, there you go. That's what happens. Exactly, that's what happens. So the material nature is set up in such a way that those who insist on disturbing the natural, peaceful arrangements of the Lord, or those who manifest great envy towards other living entities, that's what it means, envious. Those are envious. That means in relationship to others. You can't just sit in a room and be envious. You know, envious means you see others and you start having those feelings. Why them and not me? And I'm going to do something about it. If you're very envious, like that, you hurt other living entities in many different ways. So what happens to those persons? Well, you got to remove them from the scene. And they've got to be taught a lesson. And that's what this verse is referring to. Out of kindness, because they're not listening. If someone's not listening, it just can't keep going on and on and on and on. If there's someone in control. If there's no one in control, it does seem to just go on and go on. And sometimes people wonder why God lets this happen. Of course, everything unfolds by the Lord's plan. But sooner or later, it all comes back around. The Lord has a perfect arrangement. But these living entities, they sink down or they're pushed down into these lower species of life. If you want to be very, very cruel to others, there is a body for you in the natural setup of things. And Prabhupada refers to those bodies here, like tigers and snakes and tigers and ferocious animals, ferocious beasts. That's fine. There's an arrangement. If you just like jumping on some other living entity and tearing apart with your claws or your teeth, that's where you're at, then there's a body for it. But it's not the human form of life. So you gotta get out of here. You're not really, it's interesting, they asked Prabhupada about terrorists. Terrorists. Prabhupada said, it's just like in the jungle, you have ferocious beasts, and they just attack others. Just tear them to shreds. So if you compare them to that, in the animal kingdom and animalistic life, you'll always have some animals that are just very ferocious and mean, and they just hurt others. So you said the terrorists, that's what they're like, because it's such an animalistic society. So Prabhupada goes on to say that the Lord is Purushottama, the best of all living entities. We've been kind of discussing this already. Because He's the maintainer of all, He has the right to bring them to the proper standard so that all living entities can become happy. As I said, this is an important verse in this purport, which kind of is what Prithu Maharaj is talking about. Because He is the maintainer. Eko bahonam yova dadati kaman. He's maintaining and taking care of everything. It's His place. So He has the right. If it's your place, right? Just like if it's your business. Janardan, if you would open a business, what kind of business would it be? Yeah, what kind of business would you open? Oh, come on, you'd open a samosa shop. We all know that. Come on. Kachori shop. So it's yours, okay? And you're looking for work, so Braj Mohan comes to work for you. He's a lively character. But it's your establishment. You set the rules. How many kachoris you make every day, and the quality, and how people are greeted, and all. It's yours. It's your place. You set the standards, right? So this is Krishna's place, his, right? Ishabasamidam sarvam, everything, right? It's all Krishna's place. Aham savasya prabhavo. So he has the right. The owner has the right. The maintainer has the right. So it's Krishna's right to bring everyone to the proper standard. Why? Because then everyone's happy. Just like in your business, you get everything running very, very nicely. Everyone's happy. The customers are happy. The people work there happy. Everyone's paid. The money's there. Business grows. Like that. So everyone, what is that Sanskrit about? The whole world become happy? Sukhi Baba, something like... Yeah, the whole world. That's the blessing. We want everyone to become happy. Well, The only way one can be happy is they're in line with the desires of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the problem. That's unity, that's oneness. That's real oneness and unity. Not that give everyone a big piece of sense gratification that everyone will just be so happy. That doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. So, and the last line of the paragraphs I read today, as Prabhupada says here, one must satisfy the Supreme Lord. If he pleases, he gets better facilities for living, but one who displeases him gets involved in undesirable situations. What is that in political families? Despotism? When you favor family members, what's that called? Nepotism, not despotism. Nepotism, you know. You favor family members, maybe move them into the politics, or there's money and this and that. Your favoritism, you're not supposed to do that. We've got something going on, right? So it's not like that. Krishna likes me, therefore, for no reason whatsoever, I get some facility. And those persons, he just doesn't like the way they look, so no. Krishna says, Samoham Sarvabhuteshu. I'm equal to all living entities. So why is it one living entity has a very nice situation and a living entity doesn't? Why is that? It's by their own actions. It's by their own actions. Krishna's not playing favorites with anyone. He's equal to all living entities. There's no, and the word Dvisha is there also. He's not envious of anyone. Krishna's not envious of anyone. There's his children. He loves his children. He's not envious of them. So what's going on here is just a natural setup of things. Especially in this material world, it's kind of a way to learn a lesson. You want to be happy. You want dharma, artha, kama, moksha. You want these things. They're all dependent upon the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like why is demigod worship recommended in the Vedas? It's a lower standard than worship of the Supreme Lord, but people need to understand our happiness in life is dependent upon superiors. The demigods, it's right there in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna set up the whole system. The demigods are there, they're running this material world. Please them. Understand they're running everything. You want rain, you want sunlight, you want this, you want that. There are demigods running it all, and when they're pleased, they give blessings and benedictions. That's just the way life is. Just like when children start growing up, they go off to school, you have to learn to socialize them and this and that. They have to interact with people. They have to understand they can't do whatever they want to do. They have to understand, listen to, just like I was doing a puja on Sunday at Gorkeshava's house. It was their boy Mukunda. We did the Vidyarambhana, like first day of school, where you learn to write Sanskrit and Hare Krishna and so on. And a bunch of kids were there, and I told them one of the main things you have to understand in life is you got to listen to your mom. She's Adi Guru, and one of the mothers said, "Can you say that again?" So I said, "Okay." So the big take home today is for all you kids, you got to listen to your mother. And one of the men said, "How about the father?" And I said, just watch. Isn't it true? Isn't it true that your father listens to your mother also? And one of them says, "Can you say that again, please?" But the point is, you got to learn to listen. Part of growing up. You got to listen to your mom and dad. You have to listen to your teachers. You have to listen to your uncle and your aunt and this one and that. You have to listen to people who are superiors. That's just part of growing up. And if you don't, a lot of problems in life. Listen to the police officer when he pulls you over. You just keep your window rolled up. That's not a good thing. Right? Roll the window down. He wants to talk to you a little bit. So, and there are people who don't want to listen. Where do they land up? Yeah, well, those orange jumpsuits you call them, right? The latest fashions. You get one of those. So you don't listen. So it's all part of life, is listening, and that's how it's all set up. You can't change it. It's not going to change. So we can end here. Which means the next class, it is therefore concluded. I guess they can finish the verse because it's therefore concluded. Right, 1, 2. There we go. So yeah, who knows? It may even go on to another day. But These few points we brought up today, are there any questions or comments on them? It's with Jamal.
Hare Krishna. So, I have a question. This verse, B9, Yagyartat karmanon yatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. It was that line of the verse was cited near the beginning of the part that you read. No, I'm sorry. It was cited above, wasn't it?
It must have been in the yesterday's class.
Oh. Well, it's a well-known verse.
If you want to talk about it.
And I guess I read ahead, I'm sorry. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work binds one to this material world. Kind of a simple concept. Right? Yagyartat, coming on that. So my question is, okay, suppose I'm the head of an enthusiastic Indian family who likes to do service at the temple. And every Saturday morning we come and we divide up the thing. The older boy, he sweeps the temple floor. The younger girl, she does in the back, and she washes the dishes. And me and my wife, we sweep the patio. Now, aren't we doing sacrifice for Vishnu? Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. I'm satisfying that. We're doing that every Saturday morning, performing the sacrifice. Otherwise, work bind to this material world. So in other words, whatever other work I do is not going to bind because I've already done my sacrifice. You see what I'm saying?
What do you mean you're covering...
I've covered it because of work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. When the actual meaning is work has to be done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Should we change it?
Yes. Or
we have a vote.
Explain it.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about what...
English, yeah.
The reason why that happened, probably, the verse starts with Yagyartat, for the sake of Vishnu, work has to be performed. So, but to get the syntax right in English, you have to turn it around. Work has to be performed. Whatever work you perform has to be done as a sacrifice, or whatever work you do that is not a sacrifice to Vishnu, that'll bind you. But the way it's worded now, it means if you do some work as a sacrifice for Vishnu, then whatever other work you do is not going to bind you. Anyway, this is what I'm facing with. Changing the books.
Any questions or comments? Someone had something? Beginning here, right? Yes. I mean, where we start? Tomorrow it's going to start, it is therefore concluded. That's the paragraph. No, I just want to know where we start tomorrow, right? Tomorrow's class, right? Yeah, it is therefore concluded. That's where it's going to start. That paragraph. Well, I have a pageless apparatus here. I've gone beyond pages. Yeah, it's about 3 paragraphs up. Yes, that was today's. Okay, here's the microphone. Go ahead, just ask. That's okay. Well, are you asking how can those who are envious and so on how did they become devotees? Is that what you're asking? Yes, yes. That's called mercy. The mercy of the devotees. Somehow or other, that person gets in touch with the devotees of the Lord, and by that association one gives up one's envious mentality. Just like we may have some bad qualities, but in good association, we give them up. Whatever the bad habit may be. Bad habits, let's say, or bad mentality, it's by association. Just like you may be a very good person, like a Jamil, but by bad association, all of a sudden your good qualities are covered. So it's by association. By association and the desire of the devotees, even the most condemned person can revive their Krishna consciousness. That's the potency of Krishna consciousness. Isn't it amazing? Because it's more powerful than that Maya. That's Maya. Maya is darkness, but light is a superior principle to darkness. Just like there's a very nice billboard as you come into PB every December of Jesus Christ. Very nice. You got everybody up there. And what's it say on there? Yes, yeah. That's our philosophy right there. We should go to Hare Krishna. Put a picture of Janardhan up there or something. Like they have that they have those cows sometimes on billboards for Chikafikun or whatever. So we just have some devotees up there. Haribol, next to Jesus. Haribol, just confirming he's right. He's right. So whatever your sins may be, they may be very great. They are very great. In Kali Yuga, it's not even may. We should cross the word out, just like we cross the word out here on the Guru Puja, right? May my only, so may, no, it is. Your sins are phenomenally great in Kali Yuga, but Christ's mercy is even greater. So the greatness of the devotee, the power of the devotee's mercy is much greater than any type of Maya you can be in. Don't take advantage of that, but that's what's going on.